Chuckers, and welcome to Quickie Crafts and Collectibles. I'm Pandora Box. Today I'm going to show you how to make these miniature embroidery hoop tapestry for your dolls. These can be for your 1/12 scale or your 1/6 scale as well. As you know, I'm a miniaturist and I love making miniatures. So this is one of my quirky crafts and I'd like to show you how to do these. So, are you ready? Let's go! So these are the things that I will be using to create our little tapestry pieces, and you'll need some really soft fabric, just really cotton or whatever it is. It's just really soft. This is going to be your base. You're going to need some wire, your pliers, some beads maybe, and of course some lace. And I got these little tapestry pieces online somewhere. I can't remember where, but they're little tapestry things, and this is what they look like, as I mentioned before. Let's get close up. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. So what I'm going to do first, well, before I start, you might be wondering, why do I have one fingernail painted? Well, it's representing that I lost my mum through cancer, and that's what it's all about. So it's just representing that I lost my mum 2 years ago with cancer. Okay, so we have our tapestry hoop. So we have one screw and 2 bolts. So we're just going to put the bolt on first, just like that. Now, you can do this a couple of ways. You can use glue, resin, or so. I'm going to be using all 3 today. So we have that in there. Sorry, we have that there. Push through our bolt and then we screw in the other side. Okay. So there are going to be 2 pieces if you get these. I'm going to just be using the one, so I'll put the one aside because that just sits perfect, and I want it in the middle like that. So I get my fabric. This is going to be my base. It's really soft. It doesn't have to be, you know, too thick, just really soft. I'm going to put my base through there, and then you push that through like that, and that's, you're going to leave some of this out just to give it that, you know, finished look type of thing. But before I do that, I'm going to cut a piece out, so probably a square of the diameter of the circle, just like that. I'll get my ring base, and that fits fairly good like that. Okay, let me make sure I'm in the center there. But I need something to go on the face, so I go through my laces and stuff, and this is the easiest way to, you know, create your own tapestry looks. Because if you're not a tapestrer, or you don't do tapestry, you know, it can be a bit hard. So if you get lace and you only need a small piece, and you just lay it down and see what you like. And I did use a fine lace. Here we go. This is what I used, and I found, see that flower there is quite large, so if you put it there, you're gonna lose everything. So I found on here, there's just like a little flower there. So what I'll do is I'll put that base down there, and that's what I'm going to be concentrating on, most of it. So what I'm going to do now is I'll get my base, I'm going to lay it on there, and this is why we use the black underneath, because you won't see the pattern, and that's the reason I'm using this gauze. So, and I mean, look, you can find different laces. You know, there's a lot of different laces that you can find, but you only need a little small piece. You know, if you're going to use that, you're not going to use the white underneath because it'll show through, and that's quite nice. maybe let's do a black one instead, because I haven't done a black one and I quite like that. So what we're going to do is cut that in a square. I'm not going to use the gauze this time, so we're just going to use this, but I do need enough to wrap around. And it looks like, you know, she's still doing some more through there. Okay, so we get our piece there. So that's it. It doesn't have to be perfectly cut. As you can see, it's not perfectly cut. So I'm going to now find what type of beads I'll need. So I've chosen some red beads and some gold beads, and I'm thinking, because it's going to be black, it's going to be a nice contrast. And the reason we're going to use beads is to just give it some dimension. Otherwise it's just going to be quite flat and quite boring. So I just want to add some dimension to it. So what I'm going to do is pull some beads out, and I'll just get my little bead holder, put some beads in here, just like that, just so I don't drop anything. We'll see how we go with that. Now I have threaded my needle and thread, so I'm going to use white. I'm going to get my piece here, and looking at the pattern, let's start in the middle and we push that through. Now I should be using black, and in fact I will use black, so I'm just going to change that. Okay, so I've changed my thread to black. So I get my piece again, my piece of netting, and I'm just going to put the needle from the back and go to the center there. You can see that, and pull it through. And if you want, go back again just to create a knot so you don't lose that. At the moment I'm on the back of it. Now if you're not a sewer, don't panic, because that's where the glue comes in. But like I said, I'm doing a few of them. So I'm locked in there, it's not going to come away. Now I'm going to get some beads and maybe start with a red in the middle. And we push that through, get that out of the way, push that through, whoops. It's so tiny. And like I said, I am working with limited lighting here. So we push it back again. So we lock the bead in, and now it's sitting up. You see that? Now what we want to do is push up again and maybe follow through this flower here. So that's going to be our center, and I'm going to be using the gold. And if you like, oh, that was a broken bead. Okay, so what we do is push them through, and I might put about 3 in my thread. Oops, they do flick everywhere, so be careful. Push those through, and then we create a little chain, if you can see that. And then we're going to go, maybe we'll go this way. Pull that through, see how that happens. And now you've got a little flow of beads. We come up again, like that, and we'll collect another 3 beads. That's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now we go back. So which way we want to go? We want to go around the flower, so we come down that way. There is no right or wrong to do this. It's so miniature, it's like so small that nobody's going to notice if it's correct or not, because I'm going to fill this area up with beads. I'll just keep, you know, the beads do flick, so be very careful. I've lost about a dozen then. So there we go. And I think 3 beads is enough. I've never done any tapestry or beading or anything like that. So this is all guesswork for me. You know, that like I said, there's no right or wrong. It's just using your imagination, and if it does look good, hey, there you go. There we go. So that's another row, and I'll go this way. So I'm following the flower, if that makes sense. There we go. And you can go up again, because I don't want to, if I don't stitch a couple down, what's going to happen, I found that it's just going to be very loose. So you can see something's happening there. It's looking like a bit of a star. And I've run out of beads, so let me get some more beads because everything else flicked everywhere. These trays are supposed to make things easy, but obviously not. And it doesn't help if you've got very, you know, large petite hands like mine. There we go. And if there's a gap there, don't worry, don't panic, because what we can do is we can come back and put another bead in there. Now the whole idea is not finishing this job. So there you go. So it's just giving some dimensions, it's just giving some dimension in the actual tapestry, because in your story you want her to be doing this herself, so you don't want it finished. Okay, and I think I'm going to finish there because, like I said, I don't want it to look like it's finished. I want her to look like she's actually still working on this. So we're going to keep this thread on, we're not going to lose that, but we are going to get our base now. So this is our base, and we get our hoop and just get the thread through that so it doesn't get caught, and you're actually pulling it through. So now what you've got is the flower, you've got your beads in there, you've got your thread here, and that's what we want. And it doesn't matter with that sticking out, you want some of that because that's how they work. Okay, so that's that. So that's what we want to do. Now we want to put our screw and bolts in. Just like that. And just screw that in. Like I said, if you're screwing that in, now hold that on this side here and just tighten that up. And just feel it to see if it's tight enough, and that feels tight. Yep. Not loose, it's a little bit loose, so okay. And that is your tapestry for that piece. Now, we're not finished yet because we still got to put our needle and thread. I'm not going to use all of this, but we're going to use some. So I'll just move that away. Now this is going to be probably, well, maybe the hardest part. So now we get our wire, and this is very flexible, this wire. It is gold wire, it's jewelry wire, and it's 24th gauge. And from the end here, now we don't need a lot, but we do need enough to work with. So I'm going to just, oops, where are we? There we go. Just going to take enough to play with, like that. And this is going to be our needle. Okay. Now I don't know if you can see that it is quite flat, so we need to sharpen that. And if we get some sandpaper, just pop that over there, and just rub that on your sandpaper. You're not going to see the point, but just in case, I want to have it so it's sharp, like a needle. And it just gives it that little bit of sharpness to it, just like that. Okay. Now, get our pliers that make a loop. We loop that around like that. Where are we? Make sure you see that. Okay, and now what we're going to do is nip that just about there. So we've got a little loop. Put that on my finger so you can see it. Because this is our needle. And we're going to get our long nose pliers. And we're going to tighten that up there. And before you tighten it up too much, get our project and thread it through there. Okay, just hold on to that. If you can multitask and squeeze this together. Okay. And we're going to really close that up. So it's almost inexistent. And that's pretty tight. It's still going through. I just want to make sure that is really nice and tight. So now it does look like, oops, where are we? Now it does look like a needle and thread. Okay, now just in case you might lose it, I'm going to take my needle out now. I don't need that anymore. And I'm going to cut the rest away, but enough leaving a bit of a thread. Okay, now it's a little bit bent, as you can see. Where are we? It's a bit bent. Yeah, so with my long nose pliers, I'm just going to straighten that up. Okay, just like that. And so we don't lose this, you can use some glue or some resin. It's up to you. I'm just going to use a little bit of resin. I need this quickly, and I want it to sit close, like, oops, sit close together, otherwise it opens up. So I'm just going to put that under the UV, just like that. Let that set for a moment. Okay. And this is where your glue and your resin, either way, is going to work. Okay, so just let that go. I think that should be enough. It's just enough to hold it down. It is. So now we're going to get our needle and thread, and we're going to push it through there and see how that looks like it's being sewn in. But for it to stay, we need to secure it with either glue or resin. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue or the resin there. Get my needle and thread, stick it in there, and I will put that under the resin lamp. Let that sit for a moment. I think that should be enough. And now it's pretty secure there. And there we have a tapestry that's ready for your doll to sit down and start working. Well, look like she's working. So that's a gold and red. And you know, she's got a lot more to do yet. And that's the whole fun of it. And again, you can either have the thread halfway and you can see that the beads are still there and she's, you know, putting it through, or you can have, you know, something like this. This is all done with glue, and the resin is, well, the glue and that is stuck there, so the beads are all set. And you can have a lot of fun doing as much as you like with these. So if you like seeing things like this is a quick video. If you like seeing something like this, please make sure you subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss any future episodes. Please like the video, it helps with my algorithms apparently. And also, please maybe share, and I would love to hear your comments and let me know what your thoughts are on miniatures as well. You could use this for your 12th scale, 1/12 scale, or your 1/6 scale as well. You know, Barbie could be doing a little tiny hoop in your stories, or, you know, as I am a miniaturist as well, you can have it with your miniature dolls as well. Well, until next time, I'm Pandora Box. Choo-choo!